Greetings everyone. Today I was late for school, and today was a special day. I supposed to be giving a report, but I was late. Thus I have lost some points. Bad luck. Today I would like to continue my talk on the 9 virtues of these European Odin worshippers or Odinists, something like that. In my previous video, I did this erase hospitality, honor, and fidelity. Yeah, something like that. So let's talk about the honor. What is in honor? Honor can be 3 things, like there's something to do with the public, there's something to do with the family, and there's something to do with the religion. These 3 things. But when you need honor, I mean, honor can be used in everything. In business there can be honor, in family, in all these public things, you should maintain the honor. For example, there was a this talk on the this current dominant clothing tradition, where someone is criticized the necktie. What the hell is necktie? Why we are using it? Why there is this even this some this how to say events demanding necktie and etc. Well, necktie is something to do with this dress code. Person wants to show oneself being this civilized, something like that. I'm not against this necktie. I'm in favor of a necktie, even if we do not this manufacture a fabric to make a necktie. Why? Because this some shamans do have something called necktie. Not exactly necktie, it's just a fake this chest bone. Some shamans have this this skeleton, this armor, where you imitate all the human these bones. So you have fake metal these ribs, and you have this necktie type of this structure on your chest. How do you call it in English? I don't know. So basically there is something like this on your chest. This is a soft bone. It's not exactly this hard bone where this other bones connect like this. I should have this drawn this already, but it's like this. So there is your ribs, and basically this is a necktie type. This, it's very similar to a necktie. So why I'm just talking about this? Previously I told you that I sometimes just put things in the Russian language, and then in a this Mongolian, and then switch to English, and this think about what is going to come out, something like that. So in Russian language, honor is chest. Chest is this is chest in English. Same time, I guess, this. So my chest is my honor, something like that. But here in Mongolian, this thing has a bad, this name. First, this round thing can be translated as some flaws, or this you are walking and you are this stepping on something and you are falling. The thing that makes you fall is this top thing. So this is your weakness, something like that. The main body is, one can explain it as like some kind of it's called this ich be, and mainly it's of Chu. It's like it sounds like a copy, but it also sounds like being weak, being soft. Obviously, this bone is soft. This chest being soft, and the bottom is called amcha mugurs. It's a fearful, this soft bone. So you have weakness, illness, and you have fear. So you cannot accomplish something because you are having some kind of weakness, you are having some fears, and you are being soft. So imagine necktie is some kind of this protective stuff that can this hide your flaws. So necktie is something that is basically this hiding your weakness, illness, and fears. So when you have a necktie, you're like this. You have no fear, or you are being this fearless towards the ladies, something like that. So having some kind of this protective armor-like stuff on your chest as a necktie, in my opinion, is a good idea. It's not something you want to despise, saying that it's a European thing. It's a thing of these non-believers, something like that. So some people are this. When some people try to push this their tradition, or this when they try to be someone who is someone who this local, they lose their this clear mind. I mean, there has to be some clear mind, even if you are hardworking, this person. This, there can be a this people without no clear mind that is self-sufficient, hardworking. They have because they have this. Because they are like mad, they can be very this. They have perseverance, something like that. They are pushing things until the end. They want to see what's going to happen because they are mad, something like that. And imagine someone is doing very well. He's very self-sufficient, but he does not honor the gods. You just killed, this wild animal, and you are not thanking the hangaya. Usually, here in Mongolia, every hunter must thank God in order to take something. You have cut several trees, and you have to pray and thank, saying "Baing hangat bairla," meaning thank you, or rich hangaya. Or it depends on where you live. If the person lives in a gobi and he finds some colorful stones, and she must this thank the gobi. Thank you, gobi, for this gift. So thanking and taking is safer than not thanking. I mean, there is this this common idea that God doesn't like proud people, or these people who do not thank. Same goes with the local spirits and this smaller gods, etc., etc., they do not like people who do not thank them, something like that. Yeah, that's why there was, this idea of God and gods in the 9 knots in my previous video about the virtue of hard working. So it seems it's going to take this long time. Let's go to the honor. I was just trying to just put honor here, but it's not so this working. So let's this bring this. I guess I'm going to repeat myself. Bring the 9 demands from a wife or a husband. In this case, I would like to use demands from a woman as an example. Let's put these 9 demands in this Valknut. Demands will come from a husband. And demands will come from a parents-in-law. Let's put these 2 things here. Parents-in-law demand respect. Husband is also demands care and respect. The woman who wants to attract his husband must be clean in color. There's something called clean in color. What does that mean? It means she is maintaining herself. She knows how to keep herself beauty. I mean, some women immediately start to lose their this beauty when they get married. So they suddenly become fat. They are not maintaining themselves, and they are like this acting like they are some kind of lazy queens. So maintaining herself, maintaining her sexy is one of the demands that husband want. So of course it involves her being clean. She needs to be cleaning. I mean, sometimes I ask this for clean socks for this for me. I mean, I can this wash my socks, but in general, I like when this my wife provides me with this clean socks. So husbands demands that these things, this bed sheet and everything is clean. This ready for sex, clean. It's what a man likes to this demand. Also, when a man comes with this some problems from work, and he is this maybe, for example, me had a quarrel with my parents, and this like this angry and stuff. She needs to be my wise, this how to say, wise queen, or in this someone who gives a wise, these words. So she needs to be wise advisor for her husband, and she needs to this uplift his this mood and spirit and stuff. So this is what looks like a husband's care, what a husband demand, something like that. So what do parents-in-law demand? Obviously, parents-in-law sometimes visit and look at if the household is like clean and stuff, and the main reason they want to check you is kids. They want to meet the this grandkids and stuff. So their demand is that are you taking care of the kids? So there is a kids, this taking care of kids. And one thing traditionally they demand is that this if she is this doing the crafting stuff, you know, this in old times there was no such thing as, you know, this buying this, you know, this ready-made stuff from you know, this malls, you know, these shops. So they demand if the girl is crafting or crafty in this, if she doing, you know, this good pillows, or, you know, this, if she is crafting. So they are very pleased by this, you know, this, if the girl has some crafting skills. And there's also, if she has some, you know, these wise words, and if she can take care of the kids, and she needs to learn some songs. Songs, beautiful voice makes, you know, these people more attractive. I mean, when, you know, this some some other nationalities learn English, they sound different. In you know, this, I noticed that Chinese sound like, but when they speak in English, they sound very, you know, this, something like that. That's very strange. And I noticed that when a Mongolian learns, you know, this English, we are like, you know, this. We speak like, you know, this. So voice makes, you know, this even ugly people, you know, this attractive, handsome, something like that. So this goes together with the being sexy, being clean in color, in a one line. So lastly, there is, you know, this Nartad buyantai, charitable towards all living. Let's put charitable for all living. It is bad, obviously, for a woman. She is kicking her cows, you know, throwing stones at her, you know, this livestock and stuff, and she's being abusive towards her, you know, these kids. So she has to be, you know, this someone in this soft, and, you know, this soft, and, you know, this beautiful, and, you know, this something like that. There's a lot of you know, this rough, harsh women, and they are like, they will easily beat their children and stuff. They also like, you know, this this harsh, you know, this tough orcish man, something like that. So, but this is a title for 10 commandments. Being good towards the living, or charitable towards the living, is the title for the local, you know, this 10 commandments. And as it is one, you know, this idea, it's summoned in a one, you know, this star. So let's continue with these 10 commandments. So this is the honor of a wife. This is the honor of a household woman. The ideas of honor starts once you get married, once you are lord of a ring, you know, this wedding ring. So she needs to maintain these virtues. You know, this. Notice that there is no such thing as she needs to be good at cooking. You know, she can slice the meat, and, you know, this cook, and, you know, this, etc., etc. Since you know, this food is somewhat, you know, this comes from, you know, this dead plants and animals, it's not believed to be not a good thing to demand. You know, your food is not, you know, this tasty and stuff. If her food is, you know, this you know, this gross, people will not, you know, this visit her. So something like that. So we have some problem with the hospitality. I mean, there is no this trust me, I've been searching this all this stuff, and we Mongolians have a problem with the hospitality. We are not so hospitable people, and we even say if you feed a dog, you will be fine, but if you feed a human being, this human being might kill you someday, something like that. So we are not so hospitable people in a spiritual, this sense. So let's talk about the 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments is the one of the parts of idea of honor here in Mongolia. So first you have to honor the gods and spirits, but it's not exactly honoring, but it's thanking. Thank you. The person who says thank you to gods and spirits, fellow human beings, is an honorable person. Number one. And you take this thanks to people. You live in a city, you became rich, and or you live in some near lake and you fish and you became rich, or you have a forest, you fell down some trees and you became rich. So you have to say thank you, obviously, and you must not gamble with these riches. I mean, you must not play with your good luck, good fortune, something like that. Must not, play with one's horsepower, something like that. Must not play with the horsepower. So this is related with, this taking something and thank you, and possessing something. Then what? Imagine you do not possess the stuff, and you must not take ready stuff. It doesn't mean you must not steal, but we simply have this word saying you must not desire ready-made stuff. Meaning, in order to take something, you have to work, you have to do something, and there can be some cheatings on work. For example, trade is called lie, saying imagine the pen is $100, but you say it's $110, and the buyer is like took it and you made the extra $10. It's a it's a problem, but it is in the how to say, within the limits of the teachings. So you must not desire steal ready-made stuff, but you can use your abilities or something like that to make more profit, something like that. So do not desire ready stuff. Yeah, do not desire ready stuff, something like that. So, but you can't this cheat constantly. This your bad luck someday can this run out. So the next this point limits your cheating. It's do not put poison in your produce. But it's not exactly produce. It's called it's a word boing. Buyandaa buzar bolohgui, meaning one must not this put poison in one's the word this antecedent, something like that. So imagine you milk a cow and you have 1 liter of milk, but you add through this 500 this milliliter this water, and mix, you get this 1 liter and point this 5 liter of milk, and you sold it, and you made a profit. But this action is the action that is known as putting a poison in one's produce. So you must not produce cheap products, or this poisonous products, or this some fake stuff. So keep in mind that you have to be doing genuine stuff. It also can be in imagine you are learning some stuff, but you're also learning like how to kill people, or like you're learning how to kill people. It's normal, there's something like, but then you learn how to hate people. It simply means keeping the hate away, but learn what you can, just like how to going to kill people, something like that. So do not keep the poison. It's like the next point. So everything do is like being good and this stuff, but you have to focus on your speech. This is also related with do not put poison in your produce stuff. Do not put bad things in your speech. Speech is also your produce. So avoid these bad words, something like that. It's not exactly avoid the bad words. It's try to avoid bad speech, something like that. It doesn't mean you must not lie. You can lie, but you must avoid these bad words, something like that. There can be these positive lies like, yes, we will win. Dude doesn't know if he wins or not, but he is promising a victory when the conditions is like it's very bad. He's obviously lying, but he is saying good words, so he's right, something like that. So one thing you need to respect is the people. You have to respect the people, and you have to respect the state. In Mongolia, it's when there wasn't this, how to say, big this exact this Spartan stuff. Your state was on the move, and your state was simply the people. So people equals the state. You have to respect the state and people. So yeah, it's almost forming the star. So if you respect people, you have to respect family, your family, So there is this fidelity. One can say you have to respect your family, you have to respect your tribe, and you put them in somewhat this forward, because the society is messy. In society there's full of people who despise you even without no reason. When I make this video, you're like ugly, you're like this stupid, and all kinds of these people put hateful these comments. So it's like they are not maybe not my tribe. This they even can be this mentally ill. This Mr. Golden Head, this Belgium, he blocked one dude saying that the dude is messaging me and sending me threatening messages and stuff. So in every society there is this bad people, crazy, or some people with the problems. Of course, respecting, you know, this family and relatives starts with the honoring your mom and dad. Honoring and mom and dad seems to be one-sided. You know, this you must honor and respect your kids. Religion does not do that. Religion says you have to honor the age, you have to honor their experience, you have to honor the mom and dad. Why? Because reality is that every generation thinks that, you know, this I was born here, I demand more, I will take what I want with my, you know, this young force, something like that. So every generation is somewhat disrespectful. Naturally they are disrespectful. They demand more. They say that these ancestors owe us. We must take what we want by force, something like that. So religion wants them to be educated and puts one-sided stuff saying you have to respect the elders, something like that. One of the unique parts of Mongolian, you know, this religion is that it's not exactly a unique part. It is related with the myth. It is related with the hunting. You know, these rules. You must not kill a pregnant creature. You must not separate mother and son. Imagine, you know, this Chinggis Khan's mother is a lonely mother with many children, and some other tribesmen want to kill, you know, this Genghis Khan and separate the mom and, you know, this child. And imagine you are holding, you know, this gun and you are seeing that, you know, this mother deer is together with this small, you know, this baby deer, and you still, you know, this shot, you know, the shoot. It means you do not have honor, you do not have a heart. Maybe you are in very desperate situation where you even are trying to kill, you know, this woman with their children, something like that. So this is a very important part of this 10 Commandments. Must not separate mother and child. I noticed that, you know, this the God of Bible, you know, these people killed the you know, these children and stuff. You see, reality is reality. In reality, can be horrible stuff, but religion is not exactly a reality. Religion is idea of in this orderly, honorable, etc., you know, this virtuous society. There must not be such, you know, this poisonous, you know, this writing that you know, this Indra hated this, you know, skin color, so he annihilated everyone, or how to say, God of Bible hated to this Canaanites, so that kids, donkeys, everyone was killed and stuff. This is horrible. This is hard to say. It's like, you know, this higher spirituality. So we are entering into, you know, this thanking God, you know, this spirits for the abundance of, you know, this natural resources and stuff, and we are in this, in somewhat, you know, this separating something from something like that. So what connects this stuff? I shall not pollute the environment. This I shall not pollute the environment goes with the, you know, this basically I shall not cut the young growing trees, I shall not pollute the running river, and I shall not torture living beings. These three things are believed to be I shall not pollute the environment. In Mongolian, this spiritual idea, torturing is believed to be, this pollutes the environment, the spiritual environment, and this punishment is mainly about this head cutting. If there is some kind of crime, there can be this money payment or death. It's simple. Prison, this slashing and all kinds of that, it believed to be a torture, and this torturous, this society or this mentality leads to a bad, this spiritual environment, this bad people, something like that. So the 10 Commandments is the star, and this star is the one can say the traditional idea of honor. That's pretty much for today, and thanks for watching.